Hi, I'm Lindsay from Shreve Memorial Library and welcome to Art Club. This week we're going to do something similar to what we've been doing, but instead of flowers, we are going to paint blueberries. Summer's coming up eventually. Um, it's not quite that warm yet. It's certainly colder in my house than it is outside though. Hence the sweater, but yeah, it's coming, whether we want it to or not. But I love blueberry season. I love blueberries. They are one of my very favorite fruits, and I thought it might be fun to paint them. This will be a super duper simple painting. There is no traceable. I'm not even drawing it first. If you want to draw it first, you can totally do that. But I think that this is probably simple enough that we don't really need to. So here's what you need. I have two paintbrushes here. They are smallish round and very small. I have three paints. This is, let's see, we'll go from this side. This is green. This is phthalo green, which is a very bluey green. If you have a choice, take a bluey green. If you don't have a choice, use whatever green you have. This is French ultramarine. It's blue. Green and blue will work. This is red, specifically cadmium red. And as I always say, you do not need to have these specific colors. I'm just telling you what they are in case you're interested. You might be like, hey, there's no red in this painting. What is going on? Well, you'll find out. But the red, I'm going to use the red with the blue and the green. So this will be a fun adventure in color mixing. So I also have my little flower palette. I have some water, and this is 5x7 watercolor paper. You do not need to do this specific size or even this specific surface, really. If you want to do this in acrylics, this would 100% work with acrylics or gouache. You could pull it off in oils if you want to without too much of a problem. So this is a whatever medium you want to use, friendly painting. Let's get to it. The first thing we're going to do is paint our blueberries, and we aren't going to go with a straight up blue, although that might make sense, but we don't want a straight up blue because blueberries have purple to them. So we want to kind of a little bit tint it purple. So I'm going to get 90% blue. I'm getting a good bit of it. And let's see, I'm going to clean this out because I don't want too much blue in my red. I'm going to get a wee bit of red. Like, wee bit of red. That's probably too much. We'll find out. Okay, let's see. Ooh, that looks nice, doesn't it? Okay, now this is another thing for you. This would be a great one for a bookmark. Let's see. Now remember that watercolors dry lighter than they look like they're going to. I think I'm just going to get a wee bit more blue in there. Let's see. Better. Okay. You see how this is, it's not super duper bright blue. There's a tinge of purple in it. It's faded down a little bit. That's what we're going for with blueberries. Okay. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to get really most of this, or well, I'm going to get some of it and put over there, so hopefully we won't have to mix more. And then I'm going to get water, the first one, because I want some darker and some lighter. That's probably okay. We'll see. If we have to do 2 coats, we can always do 2 coats. Okay, so I'm going with the lighter of the two. That just means the one with more water in it. And I'm going to paint some blueberries. And to do blueberries, I'm not doing perfect circles. I'm just going to do ovally circles. Imperfect circles. You've seen blueberries before. They're certainly not perfect circles. Okay. And one over here. here. Oops. It's okay. And we'll do one over here. You can do as many or as few blueberries as you want to do. Just kind of doing this like, I guess that's a star pattern. Do as many or as few as you want to do. You can have a ginormous bouquet of them if you want. That's completely cool. Okay, that will do. Now while that's drying, I'm going to get some green and I'm going to go ahead and put in the light part of the leaves. We're going to do the same thing. So, make sure you can see that. I'll turn this a little bit so hopefully I don't get stuff out of my blue. Remember, this is a bluey green. If you do not have a bluey green, that is okay. Okay, make it mostly green. Very strong green. Okay, clean off my brush. And I'm going to get a wee bit of red. Now, green and red, I think I talked about this last week, are opposite from each other on the color wheel, which means that they are complements, which also means that when you add red to green or vice versa, what it does is darken and dull the color. It desaturates it. It tends it toward gray or black, which is what we want. We don't want super duper bright, potent green. Let's see. Let's see what that looks like when we dull it down some. A little bit more red. Don't forget to test your watercolors. Be much happier if you do. A little bit more red. I'm going in tiny little increments of red because it is very easy to get. That's good. That's what I'm looking for. It's very, very easy to get colors that you don't want out of this. So, and I mean, it'll also make a difference what kind of green you're mixing into what kind of red, meaning this is cadmium red, which is what I'm using, is a warm red, tends toward yellow. Phthalo green is a cool blue, it tends toward blue, and if you mix, and you see what color I'm getting here, but if you mix the opposite or a warm blue and a warm red or whatever, you always get different colors. So always test your colors. I guess that's the moral of that little story. Okay, so I'm going to come in here and I'm going to put in leaves. You can do as many as you want or as few as you want. So I'm going to do, that's too much paint. It's not off. Better. So these are leaf shaped. Like, I don't know of a better way to put it. Pointy at both ends, or at least pointy at one. There we go. And this is another situation where you can do as many or as few leaves as you want. It's like that. Not something at all to stress out about. Let's see. We'll put them wherever you want. I would aim for trying to make sense and be able to connect it later with a stem. Let's see. But yeah, do as many as you want. I would try and not make it perfectly symmetrical, but other than that, I mean, that's up to you too. Other than that, do however you want. You can do them big, you can do them small. So I'm going to do a small one here. Chop up a little bit of that. And then do a bigger one. Like that. You can also do them, say, in here. So say there will be one. I don't want it too lopsided. Oh, so the stem from this is going to go in there, and you can always paint over it. I'm going to do it like that. We have one in the middle, because why not? Okay. And there we good. You can also, if your paint is dry, which mine isn't, and I'm being a chicken, you can also add some that like would be behind a blueberry, and I don't think I have any that are dry enough for that, so I'm not going to do that today. So let's see, I'm going to do one way up here though. But yeah, put as many or as few leaves as you want. It will end up looking cool. Just be careful and don't run your leaves into your blue like I just did barely. It'll be fine. It's all blue tinged. Okay, so I think I'm going to call that done. And so what I'm going to do is keep messing with that until it decides it's going to be green and not blue. And then I am going to dry it thoroughly. If you have any kind of puddles like that, make sure that those are where like there isn't a drop in there, that it's where it's the paint is where it's going to be before you use anything like a blow dryer, because otherwise you might have it running across the page and then you would pretty much have to start over. Everything is dry enough that I don't think anything is going to run. So here's what I'm going to do now. I'm going to take my smaller brush and I'm going to get some water, and this green color here, I didn't add as much red to it as I did this part, so I want a good bit more red in it. I'm going to mix this. This is potent. I'm using a smaller brush, but that looks like way too much. That is going to give me, here's what happens when you have more red. Oh, actually, that is less brown than it looks like wet or just in the pan. Okay, so I'm going to get a little bit more green. I don't want much more green because I kind of like that color. Get a little bit more green. I'm working with two really strong colors, so that makes a difference too. That's too much green. I'm going to get a little bit of red. Mix this, just, you know, add little increments of green and red until you get a color that you're happy with. What I'm going for is just kind of a darker version of that. That looks fantastic. Yeah, okay. So now I want this potent, so I'm not adding a bunch of water to it or anything, just making sure it's stirred up really well. And I'm going to make a stem, okay? I don't want the stem to be perfectly straight, but I want it to be kind of smooth. So I'm going to go in one try to go in one motion. I have a good bit of paint on my brush. I'm going to go from the base of this down here curved, okay? And I'm going to go, this is that far, so I'm going to try and hit around here. I have my finger there just cuz. And I'm going to do this. I know little lines are kind of scary. Don't worry about it. If it's not perfect, it's fine, because nature is never perfect. Okay. There's the first part. So that's just from our main blueberry. And now I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to connect these others to it. So I'm just going to decide, not arbitrarily, this is where the stem hits this one. Same thing. Just bring this down until it connects. Okay? This guy, I'm going to have him hanging down a little bit, and so I'm going to start here and hit him right there. See, I'm trying to make it just not entirely symmetrical. So, I mean, these don't need to be terribly accurate blueberries either way. So, let's see, this guy, he looks like he hits there, so I'm going to go one, and this guy comes up underneath. Okay, so here are blueberries. Next, we can go ahead and I'm going to put darker blue on the blueberries in a minute. I'm going to wait and go ahead and do this green, because the green from our leaves should be dry too. We're going to do exactly the same thing with the green from the leaves, okay? But I'm going to go from tip down. So I want the whole leaf to have a little line running through it, and then it connects down there. You can connect it wherever you want, however you want. Just don't stress out about it. So I'm going to do just little lines through all of the leaves that connect somewhere down to the stem. Okay, so some leaves I connected to others. Should have done that one higher, but that's cool. So there are my leaves. If you feel like you need to add more leaves at this point, go for it. I'm happy with mine. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to this darker blue color that I had from the beginning. And let me see. I might end up needing, ooh. Yeah, I'm going to need to mix more. So I'm going to get mostly blue. And I want it really potent. I'm not going to dilute it like I did the last one because I want this darker. And I get a wee bit of red. That is a strong red, and that is way too much. I'm going to get some more blue. Yeah, some of these, it depends on what kind of watercolor, like what color, it depends on what color, what brand. Like there are so many different variables in the potency and just like what color any given watercolor is going to be, that you just have to try it, and that still looks redder than I want. Okay, let's see what we've got here. Yeah, that looks good to me. Okay, here's what I'm gonna do. The top of every blueberry, you know, they have that little circle at the top. I do a little circle, so it'll just be kind of like a little half circle at the top. Don't want a ton of paint on my brush. Just a little like that. Okay, and I'll go ahead and do that on all of them. And by top, I see, I guess you can see that I meant across from where the stem hits. Okay, and now I'm going to go to the bottom, and I'm going to make some lines that, too much paint. Some lines that gather. This is pretty much working as shading. So don't worry about it. We're just kind of adding some shading down at the bottom, like that. Okay, so I'm going to do the same thing on all of them. I'll cover the bottom, and then I'll just come up a little bit like that. And add some interest near where it hits the stem. I'll do them taller on the outside, and then it comes down. And just do that for all of your blueberries. Okay, so I've added the darker blue on all of my blueberries. I'm happy with that one. Maybe that's better. I don't know. Okay, so, and you see, this is it. I think it looks neat. So I'm just gonna sign this. Like this is our painting for today. It was that simple. Now we have a lovely little bunch of blueberries. I will sign it in this lighter blue which I'm going to dilute further because I don't want my signature to stand out too much. If you want yours to, go for it. There we go. Well, here, do this. I'm going to sign my painting. Do not forget to sign your painting. It is awesome because you made it. I'm going to sign it down here. And there we go. Now for the last little bit, I'm going to slowly and carefully peel off the tape that I had holding it down. Again, this would totally make an ultra cute bookmark. Like it is certainly simple enough for that. Would also make a great Mother's Day gift. Mothers love to get stuff that was handmade by their children, or grandparents love it from their grandchildren. So it's a great little gift idea, and it's super simple to make. This would be great for the front of a greeting card, like many of the flowers that we've done. And I think it's nice. It's super simple and just a really nice little painting. And yeah, I hope you painted along with me. If you did, please send a picture of it to the library social media. We'd love to see what you do. And thank you for joining me for this week's art club. I will see you next week and we will make more art. Bye.